y'all. Let's get started with this discussion. I'm going to light some incense. Even though this is not officially a reading, I still want to light some incense for the occasion. Hello, this is High Priestess Jamila. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about something that is very sacred today. And I want people to really, really, really listen. I know that there's a lot of you that do listen to me. So thank you so much for the supporters, the people that understand. But I'm going to make it very clear for you. Okay? I'm going to make it very, very clear for you today before we get into part 2 of the reading. Because I feel like it's going to be something that people don't understand because they just simply don't want to. Okay? All right, guys. Hello, hello, hello. And I don't know what the heck I did with my hair. I've got on this crazy house dress today, y'all, because I'm just kind of sitting around the house. And my hair ended up all flipped to the side, y'all. I should have pulled my hair back. But we'll just push it all to the side or whatever, or to the back, whatever. So, before we get to part 2 of Gabriel Fernandez's reading, I want to come and I want to talk to y'all about something. Because many of you guys tend to block out the truth. Many of you tend to block out the real, grime of a situation. My God. This poor little baby, this poor little sweet angel. I'm sorry, guys. My hair is looking funny to me right now, and I'm kind of not liking the way that I'm looking right now because I'm looking kind of weird. I don't know why. Maybe I'm possessed by a demon. Who knows? But I'm not. Let's talk about demons and let's talk about this whole thing with this reading and the demonic ghost face that appeared in the window, and then just some more stuff about what I want to talk to y'all about. Thank you. This child went through hell. He went through hell. His ribs were broken. They were shattered. The top of his skull felt like crunchy because he had so many skull fractures. His body was covered from head to toe in scars and bruises and cuts and cigarette burns. They locked him in a locker. He was never hardly allowed to come out. He could not breathe without being in pain. His mother kept violating his trust over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And this is an 8-year-old child. Like, you got to think about an 8-year-old. Stop thinking about these, really, 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 and he was really, really, really smart. But stop thinking about society and how society wants children to be adults before it's time. Okay, that we kind of force them out there and just say, so the child was only 8 years old. He was 7 when he went to go live with his mother. My son is 7. My child is 7, and I know how 7-year-olds are. I've raised 4 children. To go through that magnitude of abuse and to survive it and to have any will to live, because he had a will to live, but he loved too much. He loved his mother too much. He did. He was too loving. He was too good to that lady. Or that, I don't want to call her names. I'm not going to do that. Because when you start calling names, that means that you're angry. And that's not what I'm here for. People will come to my video and they'll say, that's not Gabriel, that's a demon. Or Gabriel's in heaven now with God. This is the same shit that makes these people be so complacent to allow that child to go through that. You know what? I had to go through an extensive 4-year investigation through DFACS. And you know what? After hearing about his story, I don't mind. I said, I see why they wanted to keep checking and keep checking and keep checking. You know what I'm saying? Because now the things that I went through was a complete and total lie. I love my kids more than anything. I will die for them. I don't even spank kids. I don't have a temperament with children. See, there's a difference between, because, they, I was going off on these people that were threatening my children. I was going off on my ex. I was, you know what I'm saying? And that's because they were doing things they shouldn't have done. But children, I wouldn't, if I were there, Gabriel would still be alive. I can guarantee you that. If I was the CPS worker, and I'm not even trying to blame the CPS worker, but the CPS worker should not have been doing that job probably. She shouldn't have been doing that job, because you got to be very spiritually strong. That demon had everybody fooled. Like, if they would have just went to this child's house and said, you know what they made me do with Jacob? They made me remove all of his clothes, baby. I didn't mind doing it because these people were lying to them. So I had no choice. Jacob clean up, just very well taken care of. They like, oh no, he definitely ain't got no scars or bruises. You can tell he's not abused, but they only did that once. They never did that again. But the reason why is because it was so obvious, like, and just, but this kid, if they would have been overzealous with this child like they were with Jacob, who was a very well taken care of child, then that child would still be alive, and he wants nothing more than to be alive. So if you're a Christian and you just go, oh, well, he's with Jesus and he's fine, you have no idea what that little boy went through. If you got beat, kicked, punched by a 275-pound man at the age of 8 years old, my heart is heavy right now because of what he went through. I am going through with him right now. Right now, I can feel what that baby went through, what Gabriel went through. You think if that happens to you for 7 months straight, you're not going to create some demons within yourself? You think that Gabriel was just happy about his freaking situation? He was very smart. He would go to school and it was a joke to him at that point, because he kept telling these people, please help me. Is it normal for my mama to beat me with a belt buckle? Is it normal for me to bleed when she beats me? Is it normal? No, it's not. Jeez Louise. I don't even... So for you to be so complacent and just flippant, He wants me to do these readings. Yeah, and he's saying that yeah, he picked up some evil traits during that time. There was so much evil being done to him. That was his mother's purpose. She wanted to open up a gateway in her son so that demons could attack it. No different from when a mother sleeps with her daughter's men or lies on her daughter. No different. No different, honey. Please don't get it twisted. But, well, it is very, very different what happened with him. But what he went through was psychological too, because even if stop being flippant to children that were psychologically abused. Y'all always do that. You don't care about these kids that get physically and psychologically abused. You don't even care. You know why you want to come to my channel and say that Gabriel is in heaven? Come and say that standard bullshit to me so that you can feel better. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to make Gabriel feel better. I'm sorry, guys. This is a horrible angle, and I'm tired and sleepy, and I know I am looking very, very tired. But I kept getting these messages on that video, and I'm strong enough to deal with it. I know that Gabriel has my back because he did have like some anger because of that, because nobody would even help him. And that is horrible what that boy went through. I had to have 2 glasses of wine after watching that damn thing. Horrible. What do you want me to say? Gabriel's in heaven to make you feel better? I don't think so. I'm going to do his bidding because he's the spirit that came to me. His little spirit came to me to tell his story. And he's the one that got revenge. He got revenge on his mother. Yes, I'm having a glass of wine. He got revenge on his mother in prison. Why do you think she got beat up? That was definitely spiritual. Sorry, guys. I am just feeling really, really self-conscious about, kind of the way my hair is kind of hanging all stupid, and I don't have a ponytail holder in here, and it's driving me crazy. So, yeah, you guys like feel his pain. My goodness, like seriously, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you lie to yourself and tell yourself that this kid did not suffer. That this kid, and then you want to tell me you know what? He wanted to kill his mother. He wanted to kill that dude. He could have done it if he was bigger, if he was stronger. He could have did it. But he didn't because he was too small. Somebody's beating you and kicking you, and you expect them to be happy about you. That's the same crap that Christians spout about Jesus, and Jesus's revenge is harsh. Jesus is punishing a lot of people. He don't punish me. Jesus loves me. And I don't have to worship Jesus or call him my savior either. He loves me. So, whoever he is, I felt his energy and power too. So I'm not even going to lie about that. But for you to try to, diminish what he went through, and for you to try to avoid the truth is that this child went through hell, and yeah, he had a demonic side. Yes, he did, because and you know what? It doesn't mean he was a bad person. He wasn't a bad person. It was kicked into him. It was a generational hex. It happened to his mother, and then it happened to him. So you can't diminish what that little baby went through, and I'm not going to let you. I'm not going to let you look at happy, healthy children and say that child is being abused, but turn your head at children that are really being abused because I know what people do. Trust me, I know everything. You can't tell me nothing. You may be able to teach me something new, but when it comes to that, I know what I'm talking about because I've done years and years of research on it. And the reason why I did research is because I hate what happens to little children sometimes. It really cuts me deep. It was a part of my ascension. I remember when I first went through it, I had tinnitus, I had ringing in my ears. These spirits was coming to me and I had no idea. And I was on my knees and I couldn't sleep. And all my babies were safe. But that don't mean that I'm not gonna feel, what those children went through. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. And so when I first came on YouTube, I was the only child's rights activist. Sorry, y'all. I gotta get off camera. Let me breathe. And that's horrible. Horrible. Horrible what that child went through. And for you to diminish it and just and yeah, there were moments when he could disassociate from his body. But if somebody is taking your life and beating you, you're not even going to be mad at them in that moment. Yes, the fuck you are. Yes, you are. You going to fight back because he tried to fight back. And that baby was very spiritually blessed. He is my family. I love that little boy. So don't come and try to make it seem like I'm trying to say something to hurt him. Don't. Please, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. They have been bothering me all day. And I'm not gonna. That's wrong for you to do that. The reason why you don't understand the readings that I'm doing on him is because you've never been kicked into a fucking wall. Kicked until your heart stopped beating. By your mother's boyfriend. You've never went through that. So how would you know what he felt? He felt anger. He felt sadness. A lot of sadness. Please, God. So, yeah, and I know that there's so many other abused children out there. I know. And it adds to the pain. Trust me, it's definitely magnified a lot. It is. Because I feel his pain. I'm an empath. You can't tell me because I know what that baby went through and that baby did. He had to protect himself because he wanted life, but he couldn't get away. I told you he was trapped. I'm sorry. He was trapped. That evil man would snatch him out of that thing and just beat him up whenever he wanted to. I couldn't imagine even being in the same room with a person that would treat a child like that. So the other children are demonically possessed as well. They do. They got demons. I know all about this stuff. And I never, I want to say thank you to my parents because to go through that, like psychological abuse. Yeah, man, I've been through that, but to go through what he went through, I have nothing but the utmost respect for this kid. And for you to come over to my channel and make it seem like I would say anything, he wants you to know what he went through. His mother was trying to turn him into a monster. And, you know, they were all afraid. They all knew in the family that he was being beaten. They did. They knew it. That's what's mind blowing about it. They knew he was being beaten to death. They had to have known. Somebody in that family knew. Oh, Lord, I done got the coronavirus. If you're being beat up every fucking day, his mama was trying to make him a monster. They would even talk about it. Man, we done messed this kid up so bad. We might as well just we might as well just kill him. And you think I want to be on this earth seeing this shit? You think you don't understand, man. Listen, I know that Gabriel Fernandez was important because he's an angel. I know how good he was. I know he was a good person. But there was a side of him after going through that abuse, and he would have done amazing things. He would have never hurt anybody. He may have snapped off it a few times and, you know, maybe cussed a couple of people out because he had anger, but he would have never hurt nobody. I believe that. But spirit appeared in that window. Somebody came and said, well, that wasn't even his window. It doesn't fucking matter. It's an apartment building. Maybe there was somebody down there. Maybe the demon was below them. I don't know. But I know that that was Gabriel. It was a part. It was his angry spirit at that time because they were still doing the investigation, weren't they? And there's that aspect of him, that piece of him that and it doesn't even mean that it did look evil. It did look evil, but it was still him, and we are grateful for that apparition. We are grateful for him making that appearance. We're not like, you think just because it looks to me, Gabriel is probably now the angel of death. It was wearing a black cloak. So I know he's a powerful presence. Trust me. I can feel his energy right now. And he kind of, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm under possession, but I'm speaking for him. He's speaking through me, but he does love his sister. He's still, a part of him loves his mother, because of the good times. You know, people act like, oh, she just beat him, beat him, beat him. There were times when Pearl would, you know, she would give him some resonance of love, and it was all he had for that time, and it was still his mother. Man, y'all act like just because he wasn't raised around her that her impact couldn't be so strong on this child. My heart is broken right now. I feel like I could just drop dead, but I know I'm not. I just know I'm feeling this shit real deep, like the same pain, and I don't mind going through what he went through because I know that it's important. It's important. And maybe on some level, I should have helped him. It happened in 2013. I was giving birth to Jacob. I was pregnant. So I had no control over that, over what was happening to this kid all the way in California. It just happens that way. You know, the news is kind of bad for empaths. It is. And, I'm having a little bit of trouble breathing right now, but that happens when I get really upset and it'll pass. So I know how to open up my airways, okay? So I'll be fine. But I think I'm just upset, and I think that I'm tired, and I think that there's been people pushing me. Please be patient while I get that reading done, because the mother is a witch, and she may even know about me. You never know. Or either the demons know about me, and you know that they don't like, as a high priestess, I have been threatened by several spirits. I got threatened by a few of those spirits, and he's saying no. It's his energy. His energy is very, very powerful. You got to understand that only certain people that have a very strong mind can even deal with spirits like this, because some of them, especially the angelic ones, because he's definitely angelic. Okay? Even though Gabriel helps the artists and the poets and stuff, Gabriel helps orphaned children, and that child was truly an orphan. And the thing that killed him was definitely the beast that I protect my children from every single day. But Pearl was very dark, and she was a child in her mind that never grew up. I thank God for my parents after seeing that story, even though my mom pissed me off and she played some very, very dirty games. She did me wrong, and but then again, those heartaches that you experience, with, mental abuse, they are just as bad. They can be just as bad, because it feels very familiar. You don't know how, I became very, very tough, but also very sweet. I've always been a very sweet person. And my mama never abused me like that. She did other stuff. She did the psychological kind of stuff, like, like on Flowers in the Attic, which can be just as freaking damaging. A lot of my people got anxiety because of that. A lot of y'all have anxiety, and just your heart is always heavy. I'm going to burn some motherwort for him, because I think that'll make everybody feel better right now. I'm sorry, guys. I had to let that out, because I know how it feels to be getting abused by your own mother, and nobody will listen to you. It happened to me as an adult in social media. I'm calling my ancestors, Archangel Raphael, please heal me right now. He'll do it too, watch. This motherwort helps if you are a child abuse survivor. You can be any age and be abused by your mother. Your mother doesn't have a license to abuse you just because you turn 30. Does your mother have a license to abuse you just because you turn a certain age? In any way, it's terrible. But what he went through was so horrible that I've got to thank my lucky stars, and I can't be the Four of Cups. I can't sit up here and not be appreciative for the fact that I'm still alive. And I'm 42 years old, but I've honestly felt this, there have been times where I felt bad spiritual energy from my mama to where I felt like she was trying to kill me as an adult. Getting all those people to gang up on me. So I know how it feels to deal with about 3,000 pounds of people being lied to about you. So that's why I'll never be cool with my mother again. I'll never go back to any of those people. I'll never speak to any of those people. Never. For you to carry it out for 5 years, how are you any different from Pearl? That was hard as fuck, but I got through it, didn't I? I'm sorry, guys, that this went into a personal thing, but it's okay. I don't even really have to apologize because, again, I apologize to Gabriel that nobody helped him, and I'm trying to heal this baby. I want that baby to heal because y'all don't know what that. Y'all just sit up and go, "Oh no, he's with Jesus and he's okay." You have no idea what spirits go through, like, and you say that stuff is the devil because I don't want to feel uncomfortable, and then you come and harass people that don't mind, and then you psychically attack us. Woosah, Shiva, I need Shiva. Yeah, that's sad, man. This is sad. I'm just telling y'all what I know. And there were times when I would feel like somebody was punching me in my chest. When your mother keeps betraying you over and over and over and over again. Yeah, physical wounds can sometimes heal, but emotional scars can last a lifetime. And yeah, I can honestly say that my mother, along with this disgusting other woman from Kansas City, they tried to destroy me for years, and I will never forget. I don't never forget shit, ever. I will never forget what they did, and neither will Gabriel. So, he loved his mother, but he's still gonna get his revenge on her. In fact, he wants me to be the one to do work on this lady. He said, "You gotta light a black candle on my mommy. My mommy's evil. I love her, but she's evil." So, it's a little 8-year-old baby, and he reminds me a lot of my son, you know. Then I think that man didn't like him because he was intelligent and that dude was stupid. Pearl was jealous of his intelligence, baby. I'm gonna light a black candle on her just to get her energy off of me because she don't want me to help her son. She wants him to be some fucking demon god or something. Like, are you crazy? Are you really this nutty lady? Leave this kid alone. Let him be the good person that he wanted to be. You keep beating your child and beating your child and beating them and beating them and saying, or either saying horrific things to them, and eventually they may turn into an angry person or even a monster. She tried to create the monster. In fact, if you look at the freaking demon, it looked just like Pearl in the window. But Pearl's not dead. Pearl is in jail. And we know that whatever that was, we know she's not that pale. You can see her face coming through the background of all of the pictures. This clown face. I can't stand that lady. Horrible person. Horrible, horrible person. No love inside of her. They should have given her the death penalty too. The only reason why she even got off is because she pled guilty. She admitted to killing her son just so that she could live a stinking, the rest of her stinking life in prison where taxpayers have to take care of her. Okay? Yeah, please pray for him, and I'm praying for him. I gotta light a black candle on this woman. She's evil. She's attacking me. And he told me, he said, my mommy is gonna try to attack you for helping me. I said, that's okay. She can't do nothing to me. She's, you know, she's easy. I can go right over there to her and just burn her alive and chop her damn head off in the ashtray. But so can he. Okay? He's very angry right now, I will tell you. His spirit is definitely here. He wants me to get some rest. He will move on when I do part 2 of the reading. He'll move on when I finish the reading. He wanted me to do it the same day, but I couldn't do it all in the same day. If you are not a psychic medium, you should, if you don't understand psychism and being a medium, you should not be at this channel because you're only making it worse. Attacking me is not the right thing to do, but you know, I can't imagine that his mama probably got a cell phone up in prison, probably looking at me right now. Probably doing some of that prison magic on me. And she hates me because she had the audacity to kind of be racist. Yeah, lady. I should have if I'd have known that your son existed, I would have taken him in. I would have adopted him. So we're going to consecrate this candle to send all that bad energy that she put in that baby back to that bitch, because she had a responsibility. But you know what? Some parents don't never grow up. So the family failed him. So that's why the system started cracking down, and innocent families like me went through what we went through was because of that. You know, I went through hell because of that, because they were cracking down on people. And it was really unfair to go through that, because I have never beat a child in my fucking life. Not nobody's child. Now, I've spanked my own, like spankings, but I ain't never left no welts or bruises or cuts. And no, we don't do stuff like that. And we don't really do the psychological. We don't do any psychological. You know, you talk to your kids, you try to tell them the right way. Yeah, that demon was looking like his mother. His mother is, she is a catalyst for the demon. And yeah, oops, y'all, I didn't mean to come out and show y'all my front yard. The mother is the catalyst for the demon. The mother is the catalyst for the demon. Okay, she is, and she didn't even fight it. She didn't even give a shit. So why didn't somebody else care? Why didn't somebody else care enough in the family? What happened? Did And Pearl was she's out of her mind. Y'all got to understand, this woman can't even think straight. This woman can't even think straight, y'all. She's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like somebody could have came in and set her on fire, and she was, you know, she wouldn't even have gave a damn. I'm trying to get my breathing back right, y'all. I can do it. It's a spiritual thing. Sometimes when y'all get that breathing thing, it's a spiritual thing. So I gotta sage myself off. Regna Tere Cantata Deo Solitude. Yeah, some of these spirits you have to, and you know what? You can be an angel and you can have a demonic side. There are many, many angels that so yes, his demonic side is connected to his mother's womb. It's connected to him. That's why he had that strange cut above his penis. She was doing rituals on him. They missed it and thought it was just abuse. A lot of that was ritual wounds that he was getting. They were on the outside. Trust me, when you do rituals on your children and you don't beat them up, but you do other stuff to them that's harmful, trust me. A lot of y'all going through it. A lot of y'all heart is bad. A lot of y'all got high blood pressure. You know, you see what I'm saying? So we can't keep ignoring these spirits. And he wanted me to speak this. He did, but he's still a good person. That was just a place in time. You know, we don't know when that movie was filmed. We don't know exactly when that movie was filmed. So stop attacking the messengers, man. Y'all attack the psychics that come with the messages. I tell 100% the truth in my freaking readings. Don't come over here harassing me. Now, again, spirit that was in that house, it was a manifestation of Gabriel of the side that was connected to his mother. But that was then. He's saying that was then, this is now. And it's just how he's a ghost. How do you expect him to look? He may not have been camera ready at that time, but he appeared. Okay, y'all, I gotta calm down because my breathing is not normal. But I'll get there. I'll get there. I know how to ground myself. I just need to ground myself. We went a little too deep. I'll get it together. I'm already coming down. My heart is slow. I know how to, guys, when my heart is beating too fast, I know how to make my heart slow down. Just by will, just by making it slow down. I've learned how to do that. It's an expansion of the heart. My heart opened up is what happened. And so I'm going to be breathing better once I get shit back to normal. I'm going to be breathing better than I've been in a while because it's a relief. It was pain coming out. I think that the reason why I was going through what I was going through, it was because it was messages maybe coming through spirit, maybe even about Gabriel. The point is that I don't mind. Why are you freaked out? You know, the funny part about it is that I said so many nice things about Gabriel in all of the videos that I did on him. All y'all noticed was the negative. So we all know where that came from. We all know who that came from. People trying to mess with me, and it's sad that you would do that. But you'll never be able to kill me. You might make me look like death, because I know I look like the walking dead right now. I'm walking with the dead. I'm a medium, guys. It doesn't mean I'm gonna harm my babies. Like, that's stupid for y'all to do us like that. And especially those of us that, you know what kind of spiritual gifts that we have, and we have them under control. And then you come and mess with people. That's really, really sad that you would have to do that. But I really honestly think that you would have to be kind of a guilty person. You would have to be among the guilty to come and harass me about that. Almost like you want to say that Gabriel felt no pain. So you want to convince, you're going to convince everybody that the kid didn't feel any pain? Because I can assure you that he did. When that man hit him in his chest, it felt like a ton hitting that baby. It makes me very uneasy. But we'll heal, you guys. Let me go lay down and get some rest. Okay, and I'll be back to do the rest of the reading because trust me, I want closure just as bad as you guys do. Trust me. I want closure. You know, my heart is literally fluttering right now. It's fluttering. So trust me, you don't feel like I feel, and don't you come around with an accusing attitude. And I know that it might be one of these jackasses that are just using that against me to upset me so that they can try to find a way in. When are you going to get a life? It is so sad that you would pick that out of everything and then try to tell me he's a ghost. What the hell do you expect a ghost to look like? Ghosts can look like that. It was definitely a ghost face. And it definitely was not human. It was, and when I say not human, I don't even necessarily mean a demon, but I mean that it was not of this realm. So, yeah. That's just it, you know, and I don't want to sit up here and argue about it and go back and forth with people about it. I'm not going to argue with his mother. Look, your son, your dead son asked me to be his mama, and that's sad. And a lot of people, I don't want y'all to think that this is a case 39. No, it was not a case 39. Y'all ever see that movie Case 39, case number 39? No, it wasn't like that. But how wrong were, like, when I look at movies, I pretty much make my own mind up to the situation. So you never freaking know, like, they could come out with a part two of that movie and say that the parents was, you know what I'm saying? So that he was a good kid. His mother was literally beating the crap. There's never any excuse to beat the crap out of a kid like that. Never. If a kid is misbehaving, maybe they have a behavioral problem. Trust me, my kid has a behavioral problem. I would never, ever, ever strike him like that. That's terrible. Probably, you know, it's probably comparable, him being beat in the chest like that. It's comparable to you know, maybe being shot with a 12 gauge or something. I don't mind being a healer. I don't mind doing that, but you know what? I'm tired of all the extra bullshit, and I don't want it, and I banish it. All of you negative people coming at me, let cruelty, pain, and evil ways follow these villains throughout their days, reverse the torment they create to turn on them a crueler fate. Y'all not gonna keep coming to my channel all damn day and night, attacking me every day and night. Here I go. Thank you. Oh, mama, y'all clear me and cleanse me, mama. I'm gonna go out here and walk in the rain. Ow, that hurts. I'm gonna go out here and walk in the rain in a minute. Give me some of that cleansing action out there. Yeah, my heart opened. It did. It opened. Heart chakra wide open. Go ahead and feed. Take what you need to take. Seriously. Good Lord. So yeah, y'all. It's crazy, but I'm gonna close my heart right now because and ask Archangel Michael to put a circle of protection around me. Ooh, instantly felt better. And Michael is like the best. Okay, Michael is the best, you guys. I know I look so tired today, guys, but that's okay. It's still me, and I'm still alive, and I'm still okay. So it is what it is. So I don't really get it. I don't, no one will ever understand. I have zero empathy with the mother whatsoever. I have empathy um with her inner child because she was a child once that was being abused by her mother. And then also I believe there was sexual abuse. Okay, I believe it was some kind of sexual abuse that was going on to that poor child. You know, I think that it's not necessarily something to just blame somebody, but rather let's learn from it. And that's the whole point of this spiritual investigation. Now, I love my kids all the moon and back. I love them forever and ever and ever. And I love Gabriel. So don't come at me like I'm trying to do harm. Now, I did do some exposing of the uncles a little bit. Well, anybody come for me or attack me over any reading that I do, then we gonna send Kali Ma. Because I didn't say that they just molested that kid. I didn't say that. That's not what I said. What I said was that there was some inappropriate things that was either done or said around him. Maybe it was somebody that they left him with. Okay? So you never know. Thank you, Goddess. Good Lord. It was like, y'all, you know what it feels like? You know what it feels like when you get connected with one of them spirits? It feels like you riding a fucking wave. Or you flying real fast. And it's hard to breathe sometimes. And it's just like, and when you finally do, come out of that experience. And what I use is very powerful visualization. Say hi, Jacob. No. He's so silly. What I use is very powerful visualization where I visualize like all of my chakras being aligned and and oh honey, trust me, you don't need no more candy. You've already had some. You want a popsicle? No. And guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna try to get this cake. You want me to bake the cake? Yes. So my daughter asked me to get lemon cake with strawberry icing. So it's gonna be like a strawberry lemon cake. Want cake. You want candy? No. I want candy. Y'all, Lord have mercy. I'll have to see. Well, go ask your sister. Go ask Deja if she got some. Because that may be just an empty package. You okay?
No.
Oh, because the candy is gone? You don't need that candy anyway. Is there any more of the Tootsie Roll Pops?
No.
See, in this family, we eat all the candy in October. You want some kettle corn?
No.
Oh, he just don't want nothing except for the candy, y'all. We got kettle corn, so, and that's sweet. Well, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Thank you, goddess. Oh, they finally got my breathing right. Somebody over there, who's praying for me? Somebody prayed for me. I could feel it. Somebody was over there trying to heal me. But at the same time, it was somebody over there trying to kill me. Like, I hope she just dropped dead right now. I can't stand this, and I don't know why people feel hatred. I don't take it personally, though. My uncle, God rest his soul, Vance Ashworth, and that's his name. He used to always tell me, choose not to be insulted. He used to always tell me that he would, like, anytime somebody would try to mess with me or pick on me, he would say, choose not to be insulted. And now as an adult, I know what the hell he meant. So I don't, basically it was a deeper meaning. It was a very deep meaning of, your problem is not my issue. You know what I'm saying? And when you make that up in your mind, then there's no emotional to anything. But what they want to do is they want to come in when you're in that emotional state. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay, because I'm a survivor. I'm a healer. I always do. That's what happens when you let the dead enter your soul. You kind of feel like you're walking with death, and you are. And as an empath, it hits me even harder. And I've asked God, I've said, God, well, I just want to have fun with my kids. I just want to, why am am I strong enough? I used to ask God if I was strong enough to even carry this gift that I got, because it's hard. So anybody that try to, anybody that try to diminish the gift of being a medium and how sacred it is, and try to act like, oh, it's not that big of a deal and I just go and do this and that. No, you have no idea to the magnitude. You have no idea the earthquakes that I have felt through my soul. And it always makes me feel kind of wheezy and kind of anxiety-ish or whatever. It's just that spiritual feeling. And many of you, when you get contacted by spirit, so sometimes when you guys come to me and you say, Jamila, I've been feeling like this, I've been feeling like that. And I may look in the cards and I'll tell you, I'll say it's a spirit that's on you. And whatever that spirit is riding you for some reason. And spirits will do that when you a medium, because they know you can feel them and hear them and see them. And that's not our fault that we were born that way. That's why I don't judge gay people, because if they really feel that they were born that way, I don't judge transgenders. I have came to a place of peace and non-judgment, because they may really feel like they was born that way. It's the same thing when you have a spiritual gift. And I believe that all of that is a part of their spiritual gift or their spiritual past. I have a theory on a lot of transsexuals. I believe that they were a woman in their previous life, or either a little girl in their previous life. That's one of my theories. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's their story. Leave them the hell alone. Stop killing them. You know? And you know, all people need to quit going against each other just because we're different. And a lot of people say, well, y'all better hate them transgenders, boy, because you know they taking all your men. Well, if a you know, obviously he would have to be somebody that would be open minded to that. So maybe he's gay. So maybe she's not taking my man. She's taking her man. It's her man. So you know, I don't know how I went into this, but I do know that there was a lot. I looked at a couple of pictures of Pearl, and Pearl looked like a transsexual or a transgender. If I said that and insulted any transgenders, I'm sorry. She looks kind of a trans in some of her pictures with the way that she looked. So, not trying to talk about her, but what would you know? It doesn't matter what the hell she is because hell, animals treat their children better than that. And the judge actually said that. He said, I've seen actual animals take better care of their children than you did. To sit up there and let somebody beat the crap out of your kids and just lock him in a freaking locker. You know, he wants me to talk about that because he couldn't breathe in there. He could not breathe. He had no air. He was malnourished. But did he want to die? Nope, he didn't. He was holding on to life. In fact, he kept talking about it. It had to have been demonic for those teachers to leave him there. Because he kept telling them and they kept doing the reports and then they would follow up and say, hey, are you beating your kid? Of course not. Of course not. Hey, I wonder why his body is covered with bruises and you know, why is he, you know, always locked in this closet whenever we come by? You know, they were all dumbfounded. They need to tear that building down and condemn it about it because I already see everything that went on. There was sexual abuse in the family, and see, that baby couldn't breathe. He wants that to be acknowledged. He wants you to know what he went through. Please don't look away from his suffering, please. He's no different than Jesus. Do you even care about Jesus' suffering? Do you like a lot of you Christians that came to my channel and was attacking me? Like, I guess y'all trying to get me in touch with Jesus. That's fine. I have no problem with Jesus. Man, I done sat up here and almost thought I was about to drop dead because these spirits was getting to me. And I done called Jesus, and Jesus will run any spirit off of you. So I know. So you know, to be honest with you, I don't have anything against any deity. His energy is very similar to Shiva. Very similar. You know, so I mean, you know, have a heart, you know, stop doing this, stop taking things for granted, you know. You believe in what happened to Jesus. I believe that Jesus is symbolic. Everything that happened to him is symbolic of what's happened to a lot of people. You know, I know that physical scars are horrible, but mental and psychological scars is what's, you know, driving people into these prisons. So, you know, and the reason why I kept crying, I was there. I was in the freaking closet. I felt what he felt. He could not breathe in that place. And why is it that, how can somebody not have compassion for this kid? And it wasn't his mother's choice to take his life. And he was so smart. He was smarter than her because he grew up, even though his uncles may have done some things or said, maybe they may have persuaded him to be gay. Maybe they did. Maybe that's what spirits was talking about. And I don't think it's right to do that, to try to, so maybe that's what they did. But, because it was kind of up in the air, and we got to look at it closer. But they still loved the kid. They still gave him love. You know what I'm saying? Without that love, he wouldn't, God only knows. I mean, if that woman would have kept that child would have ended up in a dumpster. So at least he got to live his life for 8 years, but he is going to reincarnate. He's going to reincarnate. Okay, so naturally, if you reincarnate, you're going to reincarnate through your own family, but he's looking for someone else to reincarnate through. Okay, he's looking for someone else. It can't be me, because it's got to be somebody that is the same blood, not the same bloodline, but they got to at least be the same race that he is. Okay, now I don't know, it's questionable. I've had people tell me before that I look Dominican. In fact, he was telling me, he was like, I want you to be my mommy. You look like my mommy, but you the good side of my mommy. And I'm like, I got 4 kids and a grandbaby, Gabriel. I done set up here. Like, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but you got to understand that this is very, very real. And you know what? I've accepted it as being real. And guess what? It lifted a weight off of my family. It lifted a weight. Like, y'all don't know, like, even Jacob could pick up on his spirit. Jacob is a medium. Please leave Jacob alone, please, because once that boy gets older, children of the corn, that child, and I would never let somebody else get that. Nobody else would know how to take care of him. My son has very powerful spiritual gifts. I ain't about to have it, and he needs to know how to use those things for good. I would never ever allow my son to use his spiritual gifts for evil. No, I'm not gonna do it. And I could sense something trying to make him evil. And I was like, So, I keep a close eye on my son, and I'm constantly hugging him and telling him I love him. There's sometimes when Jacob can be kind of distant from me. And I understand that, because Jacob represents my inner child. Everything that Jacob goes through spiritually, I went through as a child too. The night terrors, waking up, not being able to move. You got to jerk yourself awake because, you're having some kind of sleep paralysis, which they're now telling us that it wasn't sleep paralysis, but that it was Bill Cosby. No, I'm joking, guys. That was a bad joke. I just had to throw that in, but take it how you want it. Y'all know when I come, y'all know it. No, it was really, sleep paralysis is very real. I'm just saying, you know why Bill Cosby went to jail, and why they used Bill Cosby for that was so that they could show the world that people do get raped in their sleep. Like, and it can happen to you well into your adulthood, and it is so demeaning. It feels just like rape, and acquaintances or your partner should not ever do that to you. I had a partner of mine do that to me. I don't trust him. I said, it's something wrong with you. It is something wrong with you to do something like that. So, anyway, I'm deviating away from it, but it's all relevant, because there was a lot of, I can sense that, and I wasn't the only one that saw it. And we will see it in the reading. We're going to let spirit, basically, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to see in the reading. Okay. Pearl was sexually abused by somebody in the family, a couple of people. The mother covered it up, messed her up, blamed her for it, was abusive to her, called her out of her name. you know? So she grew up in an abusive environment, and then also a lot of the stuff that she went through, Pearl had an injury. She had a head injury is what spirit is telling me. She had a head injury, and it stunted her growth, and it was some kind of accident that happened as a child, and she got stuck in that age, and that does happen. For example, if you get into a car accident when you're 16 years old and you suffer brain damage, you might act and be 16 years old for the rest of your life, even though you may grow and grow and grow. The mind can do that. So I'm just telling y'all, I've known people like that. My mother is a very special person. The only difference, and I'm not going to get into my mother, but my mother does need to just go ahead and admit to it and heal. Lady, please go ahead and heal. You killing me. I'd love to talk to my mother on the phone. Like, my God, she didn't do that to me. Surely there could be room for forgiveness. Maybe. Maybe if she finally apologizes, you know what I'm saying? Because God dang, this is ridiculous. My mother used to be my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't hang with nobody, but I was like, Mom, I ain't hanging with nobody but you. Cause everybody else on that BS. And I'm a hermit by nature. So I would sit in the house with my mother all the time. My mother was like my mother's really a cool person. The stuff that she did to me was really the stuff that she allowed, and the stuff that she was behind, and the fact that I cannot trust her. And, but I think that that's just like Gabriel goes to visit his mommy. Last time he went to go visit her, she got beat up in prison. Though, just, you know what? To be honest with you, Pearl is used to abuse. So even if her son was abusive to her, that's a feeling that she's very, very familiar with. So, you guys, very tragic what happened to her. Oh man. And you know what? I'm gonna put up I got pictures of her. I'm gonna screenshot and show you. Oh, there's a picture of her and she kind of looked like my mother in the picture. Oh my goddess, she's a Virgo. Virgos are extremely susceptible to demonic possession because spirits sit inside of them. They squat. So it's not that she's an evil person, well, no, 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 no. She is evil. Let me take that back. Okay? Her inner child is not evil. She once was an innocent child just like Gabriel. Okay? So you have to consider that we're also dealing with her past life energy as a child when she became broken and survived it and became a monster to later on abuse her own child. Okay? So, the things that she went through was heartbreaking. And yeah, there she's got angels. They are there for everybody. We can't have her spirit like literally. I hope that Archangel Michael and Metatron and all of them go help her out. And them angels, they will. That lady said that woman's hurting every day. In fact, she has, oh, she got multiple personalities. She has like multiple personality. Like she has a lot of different personalities, is what spirit is telling me. She is so fragmented because of the sexual abuse, mainly, not even the physical abuse. The physical abuse that she suffered was not nearly as bad as the sexual abuse that messed her mind up. Why would you want to be a grown person coping with that kind of crap? Why not be a 8-year old or 7-year old child? So the reason why Gabriel passed when he was 8, the reason why it was Mortal Kombat finish him. The reason why she did it at the age of 8 is because that's when she became broken as a child. So the dates are going to match up too when you look at the ages between her and her son, and you know what I wish? I pray to God that more families that are going through this shit can get help before it gets that bad. And you know what? The work that I do is so important. I feel that that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I already do. I didn't mean to say do. That's what I already do. And I feel and yeah, I was inspired by a lot of things around me, especially these movies. Like a lot of times I look at these movies and I'll be like, did they get this from my story? Especially The Conjuring. Y'all remember that movie? Okay, the psychic lady. And I am not trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to bite off Lorraine Warren or whatever, but it's kind of like, are you talking about Lorraine Warren or are you talking about Jamila Briscoe? Because like literally this resonates for me so much that I feel like I'm having a past life experience. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. And it's like, all of my spiritual gifts just came full throttle, like to the point where, oh my goodness. And guys, just to let you guys know, I am sort of in a lucid dreaming state right now, but I'm cool because I'm still on my mission. Like, I don't never lose control of my spiritual gifts. You know what I'm saying? There will never, ever, ever be a spirit that would make me do something crazy because I have a strong sense of self-preservation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have actually went through suicide attempts before, just like Gabriel. Gabriel attempted suicide a few times. I think he was mainly doing it because it was a cry for help. But it's not that you want to die. It's just that and you immediately get yourself some help. I know that if I ever was to swallow a substance that was bad for me, I'm gonna stick my finger down my throat and make myself throw it up. So that's one of the reasons why I can't. People doing ecstasy and stuff like that, and oh, and also Pearl and the dude, they were both on drugs. There was definitely drugs that was involved. Very, very harsh drugs. Now the fact that this guy wanted to hurt children, one of the drugs that makes people violent is sherm. She looked like a sherm head too. Okay. Always covering herself up with makeup. She looked like one. That drug would, and meth will do it too. So it's either that or meth, because meth can make people hurt children. Meth can make people very violent and evil. It can bring out a very evil and satanic side of you. Did they ever drug Gabriel? Yes. He was drugged a couple of times to keep him quiet. And sometimes when CPS would come over, they was when he was too beat up, because you could see by the phone conversations that they were having, that she would put him in cold water. Like, what the it make you want to whoop her ass. It do. She would put that baby in cold water to make his bruising go down. Put him in, beat your child up, put him in cold water, and then throw him in a closet and drug him. Mm-mm. See, and you know what? That's the reason why when people say, when CPS follows up on a call and you say to them the kid's not there, they want to verify where the kid is at. I'm not bullcrapping with y'all, and cooperate with them. If your kids are safe, then let them know that they safe. That's real talk. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, that's their job. Let them do their job. Now, for me as a parent that had never went through that and didn't deserve, going through that, but now I know why I went through that, and I knew that it was for a higher purpose. So, but when I went through it, the main thing was the fear of somebody making a mistake. But I got over that real quick because I talked to my spirits like in 2017, and they was like, "You going through this for a higher purpose. You supposed to be helping children. You know that's one of your jobs." So I do help these children, and spirit gonna get you when spirit get you when these spirits come to you. I'm telling you, I felt every single symptom that Gabriel felt. But that's just, I'm not even angry at him about that. That's my spiritual gift. You know what? Me and my daughter both got to go to the dentist soon. My eyes, guys, I'm not bullshitting with you guys. My daughter has a toothache. I'm taking her in ASAP. Okay. I started getting a toothache. You see, I'm an empath. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and just out of the blue, as soon as she came home, am I mad at her? Shoot, now you done gave me a toothache. Ooh, I'm mad. No, I'm an empath. It's not even really that I have a toothache, because all I can feel is that tapping, like gentle tapping. But, that's letting me know, I got to take her to the doctor. I got to take her to the dentist. Or, guys, I'm going to tell y'all something. There's a couple of herbs that you can give them that will knock out toothaches. In fact, it will literally make a toothache disappear. And you won't be feeling nothing about that toothache. It's white willow bark. White willow bark, and you mix it with some of them cloves. Maybe give them something to relax, like some lavender and some chamomile. Literally, because she couldn't take no medicine because she was pregnant at the time. Or was she? Yes, I think she was in the early stage of her pregnancy, and she was in pain. And I gave her that tea. I made a tea for her, and literally, this is the first time that she has said anything about her tooth. And after that, I was like, I kept asking her, "Is your tooth hurting now? Is it?" And she was like, "No, it just completely stopped hurting." So them herbs are very powerful, y'all, especially when a witch mixes them herbs up and give you them herb mixtures. Okay. But now she gonna have to go in. She hasn't been with me for the past year or so, you know, and trying to think of when. No, it wasn't when she was pregnant. It was after she had the baby. I remember now. It was after she had the baby. Yeah, because I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have given her the. No, I wouldn't have gave her those herbs while she was pregnant. It was afterwards, and then she had left shortly after that. Otherwise, I take my kids to the doctor when they're in pain, guys. I don't sit up there and if it's something like that, because what you gonna do? Sit up there and pull the kid's tooth out? Like, I ain't with that backwoods stuff, y'all. Like, I don't do that. Now there's certain stuff that I can do, but certain stuff that now I will tell you that if I gave her that concoction, she would never worry. She would never complain. Like, it would go away. But I will still take her to the dentist, and because I used to always take them in for regular cleanings. We had a dentist, we had an eye doctor. In fact, both of the girls had eye exams, and they had perfect 20/20 vision. So I don't know why people were lying and saying that I like it was so bizarre, guys. But they began the neglect started when they were out of my care. Like, again, the family. The family is gonna know when the child is being abused because sometimes you know what I'm saying. Sometimes it can be maybe it ain't the mother. Sometimes your child can end up with his family or somebody else's family and end up getting abused or getting neglected in some kind of way. I don't think any child should be in the custody of a parent that won't provide the basic necessities for them. Something, for you to sit there and just, so and they didn't even take Gabriel to the doctor. That poor baby needed so much nursing. Then he didn't get his mother's milk when he was born. She never breastfed him. Just my heart. He's my heart. He will forever be in my heart. And like this is you realize that that was one of the worst cases of child abuse in history. Now I'm gonna tell y'all the story of a little baby in Mexico. She was in the custody of the mother and the uncles and maybe the boyfriends, I think it was. And that was a horrific case. They're basing it on the scars and the bruises and stuff because Gabriel was covered in scars and bruises. And this baby was very, very similar. Very, very similar, but there was a lot of sexual trauma to that child. And she was only a couple of months old. And they literally tossed the baby up to the ceiling. They put that baby through it, a little bitty baby. So it's one of the worst cases of child abuse. I've been looking. Most people, when it comes to child abuse cases, they're actual real child abuse. They're squeamish. They look away. Many people ain't even brave enough to even look at the many, many videos. These videos should go viral, but they don't because so many people can't look. They rather lie to themselves and say, well, we're gonna go over here and attack, a child that ain't going through abuse, but a child in your family right now that's being abused horribly, but you won't do anything. Those are the facts. I've been faced with that too. I've had it happen to me, seeing people in my personal life maybe possibly being abusive to their kids and then struggling with God, should you report it because these are, is it, is what's out there worse than what these kids are and then you have to become the judge. But whenever those kids ask for help, you got to give it to them. When they say please help us, you got to give it to them. I will admit I will admit that I've seen a couple of kids that were being really horribly physically abused, and I struggled because when it's somebody that so people, there's a lot of people that, because child abusers don't hide it. They don't hide child abuse. Child abusers are very upfront with their child abuse to their children. And people in the family will witness the child abuse and they won't say nothing. I know because I was mentally abused at times by my mother, and nobody in the family ever said shit. So I already know. And, I went through my spiritual ascension was all about ascending with Gabriel and a lot of the other spirits, but in particular, Archangel Gabriel. I've been talking about Gabriel. I've been talking about Saint Gabriel for years. And so a part of that was that because, okay, let me just tell you guys, I'm starting to feel a lot better, guys. I feel like it's, you know, I was living in a house on like 53rd, and at the same time, like these men that stalk us in the meantime, it's like, are you freaking kidding me? You're going to stalk a medium. We're going through enough. Okay, whatever. Do what you do. I'm just gonna lock my door and get an alarm system. Okay, so anyway, for some reason I stumbled across a video on YouTube and it was a video about Brianna, baby Brianna. And I don't think that I had ever cried that hard in my life. And back then I had practiced witchcraft, but then I had stopped. So I kind of low key kind of became like a Christian in between there. So I just dropped to my knees and but I never forget, I set up Indian style and I said, God, why is this happening? Why would you, why would, how could this, how could this be? How could something like this actually happen to anybody? A child, an adult, an animal, whatever, anybody, but especially a human being that has so many feelings. And yes, animals do have feelings, so I'm not deterring away from that, guys. You know what I'm saying? That's why I show the utmost respect to my food when I eat it, and I don't disrespect animals. You know, I don't. I love animals, all of them, birds and even snakes. I love snakes too. So you know, I'm pretty much one of those type of people. But I set up, and at the time, the children were visiting my mother, so they were at her house, and I just pretty much for about a week straight, it wasn't a depression. Many people think it's a depression. It wasn't a depression. It was me dealing with it. I was dealing with just the sight of it and then being touched by it so deeply and then experiencing the pain, like literally as I'm listening to it, I'm feeling it. And then this was when I realized that I was an empath because I started gasping for air. There would be times when I couldn't breathe. There would be times when I couldn't talk. There would be times when I would just my throat would just freeze up. And then I realized what I was going through. And like I cried so hard for days and days and days. And I just binge watched these videos. And for some reason, I just could not stop crying. But I felt like these kids wanted to be heard. And that's what they want, that they want to be heard. And you know what? Many of these children, especially those children that they found under the Vatican. When I do that reading, oh, see, spirit is spirit. Like my spirits communicate with me in a certain way. Every time I get something right, I get this cold chill in the bottom of my left leg. I don't know why it's always the left leg. It's like they touch me or they let me know. It's like it doesn't hurt. It's not scary. It doesn't feel like my leg is falling asleep. It just feels like, something, like it's like, I don't know. This is how they communicate with me. But I would sit up like just for days and days and days at a time. And then I realized, I said, you know what? I had a talk with my spirits, and this was even back then, and that's when I started the Bigotry Free TV channel, and that's when I started my Terry Cloth 97 channel, and I began to speak out against child abuse, and I began to get attacked by the most hateful people. But you know what? Just like Gabriel's demon tried to convince him that he was evil, we ain't falling for that. We know why we here. You can't never convince us of nothing. The Jedi mind trick don't work. So, I'm here to defend these children. And I've never hurt a child in my life. I've never even fought another child. Like, even the times when I got into fights at school, it was literally people picking on me. And it was only once. And I never forget. I never forget the one fight that I got into, that I got into. But I think that that night that I was calling to God, I think the angels started to hear me because I kept listening to that song by Katie Lang and the other lady. And yeah, these are lesbians, but they made that song Calling All Angels. And um, also the song called Be My Friend. That is I believe that that has to be a song related to healing from child abuse. Because it seems like when your mama is abusing you, that nobody seems to give a damn because the abuse is coming from your mama. And that don't make it right. Obviously, in that case with Gabriel, obviously that abuse was too harsh. But even, I've seen children get, disciplined really harshly, and those demons will jump in your kids and try to and jump in you and try to make them misbehave and get you upset. You got to be patient when it comes to children, and there are some people that don't need to be around children, and then also Gabriel was that guy couldn't stand. He hated Gabriel. He hated that boy. That's what's so particularly scary about having men around your children. But the normal woman that's not gonna happen with a normal woman. Like Pearl was far from normal. She was very super normal. Okay, she was very unnormal, unnatural. It had nothing to do with nature because even animals protect their babies. She could learn a lesson from, but again, she had the mind of an 8-year-old kid. And she's always had that mind. They even said that her intelligence is they did a psychological evaluation on her, and they determined that she was not very intelligent, that she had the mind of a child, and that is the absolute truth. However, Pearl knows how to seduce a man, but it's all rooted in sexual abuse and physical abuse. So, anything, every relationship that this woman had with a man was abusive. Not that it gave her an excuse. I truly do believe that she was very ignorant. And, they did diagnose her with that. They said that her mind was that of a child, even when she talked, and I'm so sorry. And I kind of do believe that, because we going to find out more about her. But what I'm sensing is a lot of pain coming from her inner child as well. And, as an empath, I can't just ignore that because, these are things that are happening in the past, but just because it's in the past don't mean that it's not still happening, because people think that just because things are in the past means that it never happened. And being that, of course, she never got any kind of counseling or anything. Y'all know she didn't. Y'all know that they never got that girl any help. And she suffered a head trauma. She suffered a head trauma, but the sadistic nature of her was the demon. It was that beast. I'm telling you, it was that demon, the demonic side of her. Because, see, the way that the demon got into her was through the trauma. That's how the demon got in her. There's people's children that never have had things happen to them. And even if they did have things happen to them, because I had something traumatic happen to one of my children, but you know what? I know the deal. So I know how to cleanse my children. I know how to protect my children. But many mothers, they don't know. So these horrific things can happen. And you know what I'll tell them? I'll say, hey, the journey is only begun. This was just the doorway that got opened. Gabriel wanted help. He wasn't even stubborn. There's a lot of kids that go through trauma and they just stubborn as a bitsy bug. I know my mother was very stubborn. But my mother is mature, but there's still that sometimes I feel like her inner child just kind of comes out. You know what I'm saying? Like that inner teenager to where it's like, no, you're not my daughter. I'm competing with you. What? Since when? We supposed to be family. You supposed to be ride or die with your family. You ain't supposed to be competing against your family. What's wrong with people's families? And there's a lot of people that are stubborn, don't want to let go of that demon. Demons can make you act like a 8-year old kid if you're 30, 40 some years old too. They can make you act like a demonic child. I done seen them. I have seen all sorts of people, even boy, they just go straight into demonic mode and there's no sense of sensibility. You can't reason with them. It just goes, and then it's just the one thing that I will say about the situation is that when you come from stuff like that, and even when you come from psychological abuse, people are going to automatically assume that you're fucked up. And we got to stop assuming that about kids because these kids are very resilient. Gabriel would have healed if they would have gotten him some help. He would still be up walking around, making somebody smile. He used to try to make his mother smile a lot, is what he's telling me. He used to try to make her smile and make her happy, but he couldn't do nothing to make her happy. He was too little. He was a baby. You are the child. But to be honest with you, hell, Gabriel was more mature than his mama. He looking out for her best interests. Oh, please believe that that dude went upside Pearl's head a couple of times too. He was beating on her too. He was beating on both of them. The other children were being beat too, but it's just that with Gabriel it was very severe. That man was beating up on all of those kids, including the mama too. Now I'm not trying to just demonize because they want to say, well, Pearl was a seductress and this and that. Yeah, she was, and yeah, they were like Bonnie and Clyde against the kid. But I don't care what you done been through. There's gonna be that side of you, that mothering instinct. You know what I'm saying? And where did that go? Are we supposed to just forgive her for that? Is Gabriel just supposed to be so quick to forgive her? That's how he ended up gone. That's how he ended up losing his life, was that he kept forgiving her. Because at any time he could have ran away. And I wish that he would have. He's saying there was nowhere to run to. Everybody turned against me. Everybody turned their back, is how he feels. You want to get mad at me and say that I'm a medium. That's what I do. You want to get mad at me because I'm saying how he really feels. I can't help it if I'm tapped into his emotions. This is how he feels. Why don't you just say, I apologize? I'm sorry, that this happened. Why don't you just do anything, something? Light a candle for the child, do something. I don't even know the child, and I'm planning on ordering a picture of him and putting up an altar for him. I don't even know him. Like, that's sad when people that you don't know love you more than your own family. And a lot of this stuff that happens to people, it's usually an inside job. What is going on with families? What happened to the Freelies? On Poltergeist, where the family stuck together and they didn't let no demon tear down their family. What happened to that? So, it's something that we really, and all of this knowledge needs to be mainstream, instead of, other stuff being in the news needs to focus on, what are we going to do with our dead? What do you mean, Jamila? What are we going to do with the souls, these souls that are wandering? They are knocking on people's windows. What are we going to do? Hmm. Well, you know what, Janice? Just because you had a brain injury doesn't mean that you're not going to heal. So I wouldn't even have guessed that about you. So you've healed. You may have like certain memories of that, but you've healed. I'm sorry I haven't been reading your chats because I've been tapped into spirit. And when they get me to going, I just go and it just comes. A lot of times when I do these readings, a lot of the times, not all, because sometimes spirits will give me a different answer than what I'm thinking. Even sometimes when I'm talking about myself. But I do apologize so much that I'm taking so long to do part two. It takes a lot out of me. It does, and but it's definitely worth it because I don't feel right in my spirit unless I do it. So unless I say it, unless I actually go through this and, because I felt like so many people, like when you say flippant things like that and he like, he wants you to know, yeah, that was definitely him. He said, yeah, that was me. That was in that window. He wants you to know that. And he's got power. That kid did not just ascend and dissipate. No, he has power. And he's gonna be born again. He's gonna try to come in through somewhere in either the family or somebody very close to his ancestral lineage. Okay. Yeah, I was I came out of it a little bit when I was in the. I can honestly tell you that this was a very scary reading for me because for about 30 minutes I felt like I couldn't breathe, and but I'm used to it because it doesn't happen too often. But with this one, and this will probably be very few and far between of the cases that I'll be investigating that will lead to that, because what I felt was his suffocation. I think that my spirits and my spiritual gifts choose to go through it. That's why I don't tend to whine about it, and I don't blame him. I'm not upset with him. It's where you walk through this time and you almost become the spirit that you're reading. And you can feel everything. And he couldn't breathe in that closet. In that, not closet, it wasn't a closet. It was cubby, a cubby or box that they kept him in. Towards the end, he's saying, "Yeah, I got negative. I was mean to my friends at school." Because, but when he did go to school, at least he did eat something at school. But then when he went home, they made him eat out of the litter box. So please don't, like, that's a lot of suffering. And, there was absolutely, definitely infection in that baby's body. So, so while I was back in the back room, especially being so close to nature, it all came flooding in, and I was almost somewhere else, and that's why I kept fiddling with my hair because I couldn't recognize my reflection. So that can happen. Okay, that can happen. Spirit told me I was meant to help and I would. Yeah. She could have stopped all this, but to be honest with you, Pearl was like an 8-year old kid when she was dealing with the situation. She was like a kid. Even when you hear her talk, you can tell that she's not very intelligent. So, brain damage is very real, and things like dementia is very real. She was demented. If you suffer abuse and neglect and sexual abuse, like she had everything working against her. If you suffer that, there have been people to where they don't mature past a certain age. What is that phenomenon called? Maybe I'll need to make up my own word for it. I have seen a lot of people that are like that. It's like they'll do, you know what? A lot of narcissists are like that. Of course, Pearl was narcissistic, but a lot of narcs are like that. It's almost like, and it's not like a child because there's a lot of children that have empathy. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? But it's almost like I don't care because children that kind of, a lot of these children grow up and they kind of learn empathy. I feel like our society forces us to learn empathy. A lot of us, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the people that are not actual empaths, because um, being an empath is very, very different than being an empathic person. It is very, very different. But what it feels like when you start to travel through death and time. For example, a lot of people didn't really understand when I was crying during Michael Jackson's reading. Michael Jackson had a wounded inner child. That's why. But that's what makes him special, because he's able to empathize and he's an empath. That's why Mike had a hard time sleeping, because he was empathic, and literally, everybody in the world knowing who you are, you're sort of being forced to be this star. And he had already went through trauma and abuse growing up, and basically lost his whole childhood. And so people thought he was weird because he made an amusement park for little kids to come and play in. And people thought that he was some weird pedophile because of that. But in reality, he was just trying to relive his childhood. And then also he felt so much for the children of the world too. Let's not forget that. Let's not ever forget that Michael Jackson was threatened because of some of the music that he was making. They didn't want him making that kind of music. They wanted him making the other kind of music. In fact, Michael Jackson, it was a miracle that he was able to make a lot of the music that he made, because they wanted Mike, listen, remember Beat It, Thriller, and I'm Bad. Notice how Mike went from being a werewolf in Thriller, being a street gangster in Beat It, but then he went to this angelic, he just ascended from there. His music turned into, the fact that he was attracted to women, but it went from that to, music like Man in the Mirror. You know what I'm saying? really, to be honest with you, Michael Jackson would have been a gangster rapper years ago if the demon would have had its way. He wouldn't have near about been as powerful of an influence as he is to this day when it comes, to his power through his music. Okay. And Gabriel is very proud of this movie that was made because that's why he made a special appearance in it. He wanted that movie to be done, and everybody in the movie, everybody in the documentary, they was on Gabriel's side, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's the side of good. But, that figure that I saw, maybe I shouldn't have used the wording that it was evil. I have to go by what my spirits is telling me, and it did look very sinister. But wouldn't you be angry? Like, people were, you know what? It's almost like they're gaslighting Gabriel. Like, are they gaslighting Gabriel? They must be. Oh, please, what reason would Gabriel have to be angry? What reason would he have a bad side? He's being beat up and destroyed every single day of his life for 8 months straight, being tortured, cigarettes being put out in his skin. And that baby has some pretty skin. Very beautiful, melanated Latina little boy. Now, I don't know what y'all think, but I love all children. And I would never ever want to see a child suffer through something like that. And I feel that I can definitely make a difference with these readings. If you don't agree with what I say during the readings, that's fine, but just don't psychically attack me. Or, just, some people may have one perspective and other people may have another perspective, or maybe I'll go a little too deep. Maybe I do go very, very deep. Where somebody else may scratch the surface, I'm going to go way deeper. And I'm going to tell you what really happened. Like I said, when I do these readings, I'm telling you things that you don't know. Not stuff that you already know. We already know Gabriel was a sweet little boy. We already know he loved his mother. We already know. So every aspect of Gabriel and what he went through is important to us. We must know, instead of just saying, oh, well, because yeah, he did have to disassociate. Disassociation is something that the mind is going to do. Your spirit is going to do. Absolutely. It's going to disassociate. But you still got to wake up to those scars and that pain the next day. So again, let's have empathy for after the attack, after he was beaten mercilessly, after he was beaten. What about afterwards? What about the pain that he felt for months and months and months when he couldn't breathe? You would almost have to become demonic to survive that. I'm telling y'all what I know. Outside of that situation, there would be no reason for Gabriel's demon side to come out. Inside of that situation, that demon's going to come out, because it's going to have to almost not even be Gabriel anymore. It's got to be something. It's got to be something else to just put up with that. Like, people will hear that, but unless you are an empath, and I can't even really say, but I felt back there, I felt like I was really literally walking with him when I was back in the back. So, and I'm not embarrassed by it. Of course, I'm going to leave it up. It's all relevant, you guys. I feel like I made some people feel better, and I'm glad that I did, because I feel everything. I feel you guys' happiness. I feel you guys' joy. I feel you guys' pain. I feel, everything. And that movie called Lucy scared the hell out of me, because that's basically what Lucy was. Lucy was If y'all ever see that movie Lucy, um, I don't think too many people saw it. If you ever saw that movie, like when I watch that movie, like I can sit and I can watch The Conjuring, I can watch The Exorcist, I can watch all these movies, but for some reason watching that movie scared the hell out of me because it's you almost feel like you just. And yes, psychics and mediums, we absolutely do have the capability of raising our children. We've been raising children since the dawn of time. So, you can't say that people that have, spiritual gifts are, it's the people that are overrun by demons and don't know nothing and that are ignorant. But if you're somebody that knows how to control it, you know, uh, I may walk with Gabriel, but I'll never walk with Pearl. So Pearl could never possess me, ever. Even if she tried, she could never possess me. And, I don't even think she would even want to. For what? I mean, I could feel a lot of pain coming from her when I channeled her. Pearl was into self harm. Okay. She was into self harm. So some people, when they have kids, they can't really differentiate what they're doing. I will say that she was in a way mentally ill, but with a split personality. I feel like they need to do more research on what the issue is, but we're gonna do it because I'll be able to break it down even in psychological terms once I do the reading because literally the whole swords deck represents your psyche and what was her frame of mind at that time. We are going to explore that. I'm not afraid to do that. I can look like with Gabriel, of course, he's the person that I am. He's the spirit that I'm assisting. I'm not assisting his mother. His mother has nothing to do with it. It's him, right? So when I do that reading, it's got to be done at the right time. Also, I don't want to do it during certain times because, especially while the moon was in Aquarius for 3 days, I was extremely susceptible. And I feel like the moon might be either in Pisces or Cancer right now. Y'all can confirm that to me. I haven't checked. Just because of the influx of emotion that I felt big time, just really extra. So extremely, sensitive, even just talking about it. So, um, yeah, that's what we're gonna explore. And once I get it done, I feel that the reading is gonna give everybody some closure from the situation. And then I have to move on to other cases because and I feel like it's some kind of negative spirit, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I am fighting and battling with extremely powerful forces, but they say that God don't put more on you than what you can handle. And if I would have tried to have done this in my 20s, I don't, and I was doing it. I was just ignorant in my 20s. I was doing it. You just don't know it. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know that you are actually connecting with these spirits, but you may be picking up on it in a different way because you were not taught how to use that spiritual gift, and that art has been lost, which is so wrong and so bad because there's so many of these spiritual children out there that need guidance. And that demon does not want me to give guidance, but it doesn't have a choice. In fact, that demon really has no power. If it did, I wouldn't have even gotten through. Gabriel wouldn't have even ever got through to me if it had that much power. Because Gabriel battled with that demon, which in retrospect was a shadow of himself. So he battled with that demon and won. So we don't have to worry about seeing, any more ghostly or ghastly manifestations of Gabriel. When you're battling something, just to let you guys know, and you're an empath, sometimes you almost have to become what you're battling to survive it. You almost have to become what you're fighting temporarily to battle it, to win. But the truth of the matter is that that is what you have to do to survive. You have to become, that evil, because, the fact that I'm just telling y'all what I know, because you think that just because Gabriel passed away, that demon didn't have him in chains around him. Why do y'all think that people, when they die, that these entities don't take their spirit? Y'all don't realize that, yeah, they do. That's why they were doing so many. When somebody passes so violently, you almost gotta fear their spirit. When people die violently, you do. And so those people were doing vigils and stuff. Those people were very smart. Those people in that community, in the Latino community, they knew exactly what they were doing. They bought him gifts. They honored him, because there was another little boy that something bad had happened to, and they did a candlelight vigil, and his spirit began to knock over the candles. Yeah, some of these spirits are going to be angry. They manifest angry to you. Yeah, it's not going to all be like, oh, it's no, it's just not all fun and games. You know what I'm saying? It's not all fun and games like people want to believe it. Like we playing Monopoly. No. Or shoots and ladders. No, you're talking about the spirit realm, which is very, very complicated. I want to start educating people, and I tried to do some educational videos about that, and I did get a big response from mothers, who were experiencing these spiritual manifestations within their children. And I think that it's time to stop letting this demon take advantage of these children, and start empowering parents to know how to protect their kids, and to protect their families. Because right now, there's so many people that are vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And it is invisible. It is, because, but the camera picks it up. Cameras pick up spirits, and all of the photographs that I showed you of Gabriel definitely proves what I said was correct. And even when you look at that, the last picture that I had showed you guys in the first reading, at the beginning of the video. Okay, even the background starts to manifest as this, as Pearl's face. And Pearl's face changed a lot too. She did end up putting on a lot of weight, because probably because while she was, free, she probably was doing drugs or something. I've sensed drugs as well, but drugs don't necessarily, depending on what kind of drugs you're doing, because I know that I have seen people go through some very drastic personality changes, and you can't tell me people that I used to love went through some very drastic personality changes. I'm not going to point them out, but they did. And it's got to be drugs. At that time that they was flipping out like that, what was wrong with you? Then it could be, it very well could be, okay? It very well could be just some supernatural occurrence. Yes, that does happen. But the fact that she put on so much weight, like it has been 3 years, but I mean, yeah, and she only, like, when you look at her, like the Pearl's face shows up. That's actually Pearl's face, but it's that the child came from the mother. So this is the reason why, he would have had to have been very careful with who he identified with. And he's saying, no, I wouldn't have. I would have survived and I would have been okay. So he's speaking, he's communicating with me. But everybody else would have looked at him and they would have, even if he would have forgotten about the abuse, even if he had no memory of that horrific abuse that happened to him, people would have still looked at him like he was crazy. So he would have needed to identify totally different and just literally not even identify with this woman at all. He would have needed to have gone no contact. Unless she would have gotten better herself. But how many people do you know that wants contact with their mother that, you know, I mean, yes, she killed him. She killed her child. She did it. Spirit sees her as responsible. But, you know, she was already sick and twisted to even be abusing her kids and punching her kids in the faces and stuff like that. Mm-mm. That's abuse. Punching your kid in the face is physical abuse. Even if you punch them and you don't punch them to where it breaks their nose or something, it's kind of like, and usually the people that are around, even if the children are, behaving that way, if Pearl would have had custody of that child months before, years before that, she would have, the same thing would have happened. She would have did the same thing no matter how old Gabriel was. So, and then there's also the fact that, she literally took that boy back just so that she could get state government benefits. Yes, she did. I say, Nefertiti, the goddess. You saw that, Orion's daughter? Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not responding to y'all because I'm kind of looking, I'm actually looking at the tree. So, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. And the main, you can heal spirits. Did y'all know that as mediums, we can heal these spirits that have went so violently? Instead of being afraid of them, help them because they need it. You know, it is raining cats and dogs outside, y'all. I'm gonna go and spend time with my baby girl on her birthday, and we about to eat some cake. So, I'm basically wide awake, and I am in sort of a lucid dream state right now. Um, but I'm gonna crash. It's probably very soon. I think I'm probably gonna go to bed probably about at like 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm gonna end up in bed early. Yep. So, and thank the goddess, my sleep is gonna be switched back because I love getting up early in the morning. I rather sleep at night. So, oh, we are having an energy shift because the new moon is coming up. So, because I don't, I'll probably be able to stay up for a little while longer, but I'm gonna have to crash and at least take a nap. Sometimes you know what I like to do, guys. You know what my preferred sleep schedule is? It's probably like 8 p.m. to about 3 a.m. That yeah, I know that it sounds weird, but I get, they say that 3 a.m. is the witching hour, and 3 a.m. Let me tell y'all why 3 a.m. is the witching hour. Because the number three is a very powerful number for manifestation and ascension. So that's why the witching hour at 3, there's portals that open up at 3 in the morning. There's some people that they only do their spell work at 3 a.m., early in the morning. But then again, there's some people that can do their spell work at night, but some people, prefer to do it that way, when it comes to, but I'm going to tell y'all something. Yes, I did say that Pearl was a witch that sacrificed her child. That does not mean that all witches, y'all got to remember, okay, there is also Glenda the Good Witch. Okay, and to be honest with you, there's evil people, of course, but when you are practicing the arts and you understand the spirit realm, you know that there's really no difference between light and dark. It's kind of like it's hard to explain. Because what I just went through was sort of like black magic. It was spirit, And guys, I am also going to start doing in spiritual investigations on things like the Bermuda Triangle. I want to do a spiritual investigation on the Bermuda Triangle. I don't have to go and travel. I ain't going over there. But they call the Bermuda Triangle, voodoo, what do they call it? Voodoo Isle or something? Hoodoo or something. Or they call it the Devil Isle or something like that. So it's a lot of different, you know, um, different things that I like because I don't just, do spiritual readings on that because I mean, a lot of people have died in the Bermuda Triangle. I would like to know why. This is something I've always been intrigued by and I've always wanted to know. So sometimes when this, research can definitely be healing and research can also be very interesting because you never know what connection I may have with the Bermuda Triangle. You never know. So if it's things that intrigue you, study them and actually see what they're about. You know what I'm saying? And use your intuition. Okay. Yes, yes. I think that a lot of the people that may have been going through some insomnia and see this tells me that something positive must be getting ready to happen. Because I noticed that spirits will, like when certain stuff is going on, they'll keep me up. They will. Sometimes I'll be up till 7 o'clock in the morning, especially if I'm working. If they got, certain messages that, my spirits want to, get out there. I can honestly say that my spirits are me. They're not a separate aspect of me. They all are me. All of them are good though. Anyway, guys, very, very interesting. I've been watching videos on it. Guys, I don't, I know that those people from the black sector and I'm sorry, the extent of my research goes beyond you people. I've already decoded you people, but um it's like there's so many different, like I look at like y'all know what I wish y'all could look at my history list on YouTube. I look at so many different videos on YouTube that are very, very interesting. I look at the History Channel. I I don't be sitting. I don't sit around and listen and look at that stuff because just not on it. You know. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'd like to do that too. I've got a lot of things that I would love to explore other than whether or not somebody is a poopy head. And that I'm gonna, end that with this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You know, and I will definitely see you guys later for that reading. Because we're gonna break all of it down like a 12 gauge. We're gonna look at the family, we're gonna look at the generational hex, we're gonna look at you know, literally for some reason, and I'm not trying to, I guess I don't care about him being dehumanized because of the way he dehumanized Gabriel, but I'll be looking at what's going on with him too. So I'm going to look at all of that when I do the reading. So, and I've just been super duper busy trying to get things caught up, but it's definitely coming. Yeah, down with all poopy heads. No poopy head behavior. Let's get it, even the people that were involved with that sector, like I said, my door is always open to y'all. Start looking at other stuff. Start looking at stuff that's more interesting. Maybe that's interesting to you for some reason, but it's really not that interesting to me. Sometimes it can be very funny, but right now, with everything going on spiritually, it's a wake up call. So I got that wake up call and I was like, I can't be dealing with that foolishness. Now I will tell you that, there have been people out here in social media that I have cared about, and I'm not going to sit up here and deny that. But, again, I think that they were probably trying to recreate Gabriel's situation, which would never happen to any of my children ever. Okay, and my son ain't never even had such even a scratch on him. So I don't believe in that. And all of my children have pretty skin. They ain't got bruises and cuts and scratches and stuff all over. Mm-mm. Nope. Anyway, guys, don't be afraid of the monsters because when you're afraid of them, that's when they can get you. I'll see you guys later. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to, I do provide psychic readings. On this channel, but this channel is going to go into like a spiritual investigative channel is what it's going to turn into. So Glenda wasn't the good witch. You thought the mean old nasty witch that you thought she was the good one. Oh Lord. Well, you know what? Maybe we having a Mandela effect, so maybe I need to go back and look at the Wizard of Oz. I love that movie. Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies, along with Mary Poppins. Um, Never could get into the Sound of Music. Some of my favorite old movies, and guys, I didn't want to, make this, because people that are watching that are, well, I already went over the Gabriel situation, so I'm pretty sure that they came and got what they needed and left. But it's time for me to rest. And I don't even feel like going to sleep, but I know as soon as I lay down, I'm going to go to sleep. Really? Nefertiti the goddess? I don't think so. They kind of show how the evil witch turns evil, though, because she got her heart broken by the wizard. The Wizard of Oz. Did you ever see I love that movie too. What was it called? The newer one with Mia, I can't think of her name. I'm her last name. I'm sorry. Um what was it, guys? The Great and Powerful Oz. So they kind of added to that story and they showed how the evil witch became the way that she was, and it was because of heartbreak. And then also, I believe that her sister betrayed her. You know, I don't know. That wicked witch was kind of doing some evil stuff. Maybe she felt like that was what she needed to do to survive, but it was all a happy ending. Dorothy, found her home, and little Toto was even okay. So, oh, you got to see that one if you have never seen it. You know what? A lot of people didn't get it, and at first I didn't. I got it, but I was hearing from people. So a lot of people was telling me, "Girl, don't see that movie. That movie was stupid. It wasn't even The Wizard of Oz. It was some other story." It was like, "Oh," and then when I finally saw it, it was like, "Oh, so they just kind of expanded upon, they expanded upon the original story and kind of delved deeper into, what happened." So, you know. That's kind of what we're talking about right now. The wicked witch, she didn't have to become evil just because somebody had hurt her. In fact, she kind of jumped the gun too soon. Okay? She jumped the gun, y'all. Yeah, was it Mia Kunich? Yeah. Yeah, I think she's Mila, and she is so pretty, isn't she? She is really a pretty woman. She is, and her name is kind of like my name, only without the J and the A. But yeah, she's really pretty. So, and the Wicked Witch, she was pretty before she came very wicked. You know, well, Mia did become wicked. That was Mila. Mila. I don't know why I keep. How did I forget her name was Mila? She became wicked. She was the wicked witch, and I think she had fallen in love with the Oz or something. And, maybe they need to make part two of that movie where she actually heals and turns back into, a nice person. Oh, do you really? Oh my goddess. You know what? I would love to I have wanted to get some Urban Decay makeup for years. I might one day splurge on that. You like the Wiz? Yes, I love the Wiz, and not only Diana Ross but Lena Horne. And I loved everything about that movie. Like it was really a good movie. It really was. But yeah, sometimes when you get hurt like that, and somebody hurt you, even if somebody don't physically hurt you, but they hurt you in other ways, people can become broken because they may think that there's no way out of that, but heartbreak is something that you're meant to heal from. So hopefully the Wicked Witch of the West will heal. Hopefully. You love the character of the Wicked Witch played by Margaret Hamilton. She was sensational playing that character. You know what? It's not that you don't like the character, but in real life, you got to think about this literally is kind of like the narcissist demon to the where this wicked witch, and she actually used a um what's that thing, the hourglass, but she had a real big one. Y'all remember that? It's something very spiritual about them hourglasses. Okay, I might have to write like a little blog about it because I couldn't even find anything. That hourglass is time travel. Okay. So so basically, she was able to, like this evil wicked witch. I mean, she had nothing but hatred and jealousy because she wanted the damn slippers. Why you want somebody else's shoes? Or aren't we very petty? She was like, I want those slippers, but they belong to Dorothy. So stop it. Like, how you just gonna take Dorothy's shoes? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like, oh, so you're gonna rob me? Like she was a thief. Like she was trying to steal this woman's shoes. Which was basically she was trying to steal Dorothy's power. And keep in mind that Dorothy had such a loving family, they were, they didn't, Dorothy's family didn't send the wicked witch out to her either, so Dorothy in that movie, somebody was comparing me to Dorothy. That was so funny. Every time I would hear somebody say that we're going to send Dorothy back to Kansas. And I'm like, but my story doesn't even compare to Dorothy's because Dorothy's family, they wouldn't have sent out a wicked witch to try to go and capture her and force her to come back home. And somebody was trying to compare me with Dorothy. It was like, no, like you're so sadly mistaken. Like, really? And it was so obvious because it's like, okay, usually people that love somebody, they're not gonna spread rumors about them and talk about them and wish bad on them. They're going to want good things for them. They're not going to wish everything bad to happen to them. That's another one you're talking about. Oh, I ain't even mad at that lady though. I ain't mad at nobody. I'm not mad at anybody on YouTube, man. Let me tell you something. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, man. For real. All that fighting and arguing and stuff and going back and forth, that stuff ain't worth it. So, oh, you talking about the original? Yeah, I'm talking about the original Wizard of Oz with God, I can't never remember none of these people's names. Y'all know the lady, very famous lady. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. I can't always remember all of this stuff because when I watch old movies, you know which movies I love to watch? One of my favorite old movies is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Oh my goddess, that is a good movie. And another very, very good movie that came out is The Bad Seed, like the old black and white version. That movie, that's a good movie, but you know, I've got to wrap this up, guys. I can sit here and talk to y'all for hours, especially in the mood that I'm in right now. But I got to go in here and use the restroom. You know what? Yeah, I gotta go use the restroom, and then I'm getting ready to eat cake, so I gotta go. You said, "Girl, I wish I had them this slippers." She clicked to be back home. Yeah, I hear you on that. She had a loving family though to go home to. She had people that wouldn't try to hurt her or embarrass her. Dorothy had it going on. A lot of y'all don't have that. Y'all got a bunch of craziness going on that you don't have no control over. You cannot save all of those people, not all of them. Some of them are going to embrace you trying to, be helpful, but some people are going to just try to discredit you and dog you out. So, because they was trying to compare me to Dorothy. It's like, no, 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 no. First of all, a tornado didn't take me to Kansas or Georgia. I took myself. So, very big difference between me and Dorothy. Dorothy was kind of being shifted around, by this unforeseen force that was connected to her. Because, do you think that Dorothy, after she did get back home to her loving family that loved her, do you think that she would not want to experience what she went through? Some stuff that you go through, it teaches you something and you learn something and you become stronger, and you get gifts out of that. Turning those curses into gifts into blessings is what it's all about. So, was that Joan Crawford? That was Joan Crawford. That wasn't Joan Crawford that played Dorothy. Anyway, guys, I could sit here and talk to y'all for hours. I already been here almost 3 hours. I gotta go. I gotta go use the restroom and chill out and relax. I will see you guys later. I've enjoyed this discussion. I will see y'all at the next Gabriel reading. In fact, that I promise that that's gonna be the next video that you guys see. Okay, I'll try not to break my promise because you never know what spirits might do, but All right, guys, I'll see you later. Okay, guys, love and light.